For millennia, the name Atlantis has echoed through the corridors of human imagination. It conjures images of a breathtaking island civilization, a beacon of advanced knowledge and unparalleled prosperity, tragically swallowed by the ocean in a cataclysmic event. This legendary metropolis, described in vivid detail by ancient philosophers, continues to captivate us, fueling countless books, blockbuster films, and daring expeditions. We ask ourselves, is Atlantis merely a beautiful myth, a philosophical fable? Or does it whisper of a forgotten chapter in human history, a civilization lost to the depths? Our quest for Atlantis begins not in the ocean depths, but in the sun-drenched academies of ancient Greece, with the towering figure of the philosopher Plato. Around 360 BC, at the height of classical Greek civilization, Plato introduced Atlantis to the world. He didn't present it as a fanciful invention, but as a historical account, a story with roots in the distant past. In his philosophical dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, he wove the tale of Atlantis into his exploration of ideal societies and the nature of justice. Plato claimed that the story of Atlantis was not his own creation. He attributed its origin to Egyptian priests, who, according to his narrative, shared the tale with Solon, a revered Athenian statesman and poet, during his travels to Egypt nearly 2 centuries earlier. Solon, seeking wisdom from ancient lands, supposedly learned of Atlantis's existence and its dramatic demise from these keepers of ancient knowledge. This Egyptian connection lent an air of antiquity and authority to the Atlantis story, embedding it within a rich tapestry of historical and cultural context. Imagine Solon, a figure respected throughout Greece for his wisdom and political reforms, returning from his Egyptian sojourn, carrying with him this extraordinary story. He intended to share it, Plato tells us, but was unable to complete the task before his death. Generations later, the tale was passed down to Critias, Plato's great-grandfather, who recounted it to Socrates and other philosophers. This lineage, from Egyptian priests to Solon to Critias and finally to Plato, gave the Atlantis narrative a perceived historical grounding, even within Plato's philosophical framework. In Timaeus and Critias, Plato meticulously described Atlantis. He placed it beyond the Pillars of Heracles, a geographical marker understood by the ancient Greeks as the Strait of Gibraltar, the gateway to the unknown Atlantic Ocean. Atlantis, he said, was not a small island, but a vast island continent, larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined, a landmass of immense scale and power. From this Atlantic base, the Atlanteans ruled over parts of Europe and Africa, a mighty empire dominating the known world. Plato's Atlantis was not just geographically vast, it was a marvel of civilization. He depicted a utopian society, governed by wise philosopher kings, possessing advanced technology far beyond the Greece of his time. Imagine magnificent cities with concentric rings of land and water, connected by canals and tunnels, bustling harbors filled with ships from across the world. Envision towering temples adorned with precious metals, palaces of breathtaking beauty, and a society structured with order and harmony. The Atlanteans, according to Plato, were not only technologically advanced but also virtuous and just in their early days. They were descendants of the god Poseidon, who divided the island among his 10 sons. For generations, they lived in accordance with divine laws, valuing wisdom, courage, and moderation. Their power and prosperity were a testament to their virtue. But, as Plato's narrative unfolds, a shadow falls upon Atlantis. Generations passed, and the divine lineage of the Atlanteans became diluted. Human nature, with its inherent flaws, began to assert itself. Pride, greed, and the lust for power corrupted the once virtuous rulers. Atlantis, once a beacon of justice, turned towards aggression and conquest, seeking to dominate the world beyond its island realm. But, as Plato's narrative unfolds, a shadow falls upon Atlantis. Generations passed, and the divine lineage of the Atlanteans became diluted. Human nature, with its inherent flaws, began to assert itself. Pride, greed, and the lust for power corrupted the once virtuous rulers. Atlantis, once a beacon of justice, turned towards aggression and conquest, seeking to dominate the world beyond its island realm. This shift from virtue to vice, from justice to tyranny, incurred the wrath of the gods, particularly Zeus, the king of the Olympian gods. Seeing the moral decay of Atlantis and its aggressive expansionism, Zeus convened the gods to decide the fate of this once great civilization. The divine judgment was swift and devastating. Plato describes the cataclysm in stark terms: violent earthquakes and floods descended upon Atlantis. In a single day and night of terrifying upheaval, the island continent was utterly destroyed, swallowed by the ocean depths, vanishing without a trace. Atlantis, the magnificent empire, was erased from the face of the earth, a victim of its own moral failings and divine retribution. Plato's Atlantis, therefore, served a profound philosophical purpose. It was not intended as a literal historical account, but as an allegory, a powerful cautionary tale. It explored themes of ideal societies, the corrupting influence of power, and the consequences of moral decay. Atlantis became a symbol of human ambition, both its glorious potential and its tragic vulnerability. The enduring allure of Atlantis is undeniable, but it's crucial to recognize that the concept of a magnificent, lost, sunken civilization is not unique to Western culture. Across the globe, in diverse cultures and continents, we find remarkably similar myths of advanced societies swallowed by the sea, lost to time and catastrophic events. These stories, geographically separated and culturally distinct, share striking thematic parallels with the Atlantean narrative. Are these merely fascinating coincidences, independent creations of human imagination? Or do they point to something deeper, a shared human experience, perhaps even a faint echo of historical realities? Let's embark on a journey eastward, traveling to the vibrant lands of ancient India, where the epic Mahabharata, one of the longest poems ever written, speaks of Dwarka, the dazzling golden city of Lord Krishna. Dwarka was no ordinary city. It was a divine metropolis, established by Krishna himself, a god incarnate in human form. It was a center of power, wealth, and unparalleled beauty, a testament to divine craftsmanship and earthly prosperity. The Mahabharata describes Dwarka as a city of incredible planning and beauty, with vast avenues, towering mansions adorned with jewels, and lush gardens. It was a center of trade, culture, and spiritual life, a city blessed by the presence of Krishna. For generations, Dwarka flourished, a symbol of divine favor and human achievement. However, like Atlantis, Dwarka's golden age was not destined to last forever. The Mahabharata recounts that after Krishna's departure from Earth, a series of ominous events foretold the city's doom. Moral decay crept into Dwarka, and the once virtuous inhabitants succumbed to vice and internal conflict. Prophecies of destruction filled the air, and a sense of impending catastrophe loomed over the magnificent city. Then came the deluge. The Mahabharata describes a great flood that engulfed Dwarka, orchestrated by the gods as a consequence of the city's moral decline. The ocean rose relentlessly, swallowing palaces, temples, and homes. The once golden city was submerged beneath the waves, vanishing as completely as if it had never existed. Dwarka became a watery grave, a poignant reminder of the impermanence of even the most glorious civilizations. Moving westward once more, this time to the rugged coast of Brittany in France, we encounter the captivating legend of Wise. Wise, like Atlantis and Dwarka, was a city of legendary beauty and unimaginable wealth. It was said to be built below sea level, reclaimed from the ocean by the mythical King Gradlin and protected by a magnificent seawall, a marvel of engineering attributed to the sorceress Princess Dahut, Gradlin's daughter. Wise was a city of contrasts, a place of both incredible beauty and hidden darkness. Protected from the sea by Dahut's magical seawall, it flourished as a center of trade and culture, a jewel on the Breton coast. However, beneath the surface of prosperity and beauty, a seed of moral corruption was said to be growing, nurtured by Dahut's own ambiguous nature and the city's embrace of worldly pleasures. The downfall of Wise, as the legend goes, was orchestrated through treachery and divine intervention. A wicked figure, sometimes portrayed as a demon or a sorcerer, tricked Dahut into stealing the key to the seawall gates from her father, King Gradlin. During a raging storm, this key was used to open the gates, unleashing the full fury of the ocean upon the unsuspecting city. Further north, across the English Channel, Cornish folklore whispers of Lyonesse, a land now lost beneath the waves. Lyonesse was not just a city, but an entire kingdom, said to have stretched from Cornwall westward to the Isles of Scilly, now just a scattering of islands off the Cornish coast. It was described as a fertile and prosperous land, dotted with villages, churches, and perhaps even grander settlements. Lyonesse, unlike Atlantis or Dwarka, is often portrayed as lost not due to moral failings or divine wrath, but to a sudden and inexplicable natural catastrophe. The sea simply rose, unexpectedly and relentlessly, engulfing the entire kingdom. Some versions of the myth speak of Arthurian knights and heroes being caught in the deluge, adding a layer of tragic romance to the tale. These are just a few glimpses into the widespread global phenomenon of sunken city myths. From the ancient Sumerian flood stories that predate even Plato, to legends found in indigenous cultures across the Americas and the vast Pacific, the motif of a lost, submerged world recurs with remarkable consistency. What universal human anxieties or historical experiences could explain this global pattern? Could these myths be purely imaginative creations, or are they distorted echoes of actual historical events, preserved in the collective memory of humanity? As we delve deeper into the search for Atlantis and its mythical counterparts, we must consider the possibility that these stories, while not literal historical accounts, may hold kernels of truth, reflecting humanity's enduring relationship with the sea, our vulnerability to natural disasters, and our persistent fascination with the mysteries of the past. The next chapter will explore the fascinating intersection of mythology and reality, as we turn to archaeology and geology to seek tangible clues in the search for lost worlds. While the romantic allure of Atlantis, Dwarka, Wise, and Lyonesse lies firmly in the realm of myth and legend, we cannot dismiss the possibility that these stories, in their own way, might be whispering echoes of the past. Archaeology and geology, the sciences that delve into the Earth's history and human civilizations, offer intriguing perspectives. Could real historical events, such as devastating natural disasters, dramatic sea level rise, or the submergence of coastal settlements, have served as the inspiration for these enduring myths? Let's now turn our attention to the tangible evidence, exploring the archaeological record and geological realities to see if they can shed light on the mysteries of sunken civilizations. The legend of Dwarka, for example, took a remarkable turn when, in the early 2000s, marine archaeologists began exploring the seabed off the coast of Gujarat, India, in the Gulf of Cambay. What they discovered was astonishing: vast submerged ruins, city structures laid out in a grid pattern, ancient walls, pillars, and artifacts scattered across the seafloor. Carbon dating of recovered artifacts suggested that these structures could be thousands of years old, potentially dating back to the time period associated with the mythical Dwarka. The discovery sparked intense debate and excitement. Could this be the Dwarka of the Mahabharata? While definitive proof remains elusive, the archaeological findings undeniably demonstrate the existence of a substantial, ancient, and submerged settlement in the very region where the Dwarka myth originated. Skeptics point out that the dating and interpretation of the site are still debated, and that equating these ruins directly with the mythical Dwarka requires a leap of faith. However, the discovery has undeniably added a layer of historical plausibility to the Dwarka legend, suggesting that it might be rooted in a real, submerged city. Another compelling case study in the search for sunken civilizations takes us to the Mediterranean, to the volcanic island of Santorini, known in ancient times as Thera. Santorini is famous for its breathtaking caldera, a vast volcanic crater submerged in the sea, a stark reminder of the island's violent geological past. It is here, in the heart of the Aegean Sea, that some researchers believe they have found the historical inspiration for Plato's Atlantis. During the Bronze Age, Santorini was home to a branch of the Minoan civilization, a sophisticated culture centered on the island of Crete. The Minoans were renowned for their advanced art, architecture, seafaring skills, and prosperous trade network. Akrotiri, a Minoan city on Santorini, was a thriving urban center, a testament to Minoan ingenuity and cultural richness. Around 1600 BCE, disaster struck. A colossal volcanic eruption, one of the largest in recorded history, ripped through Santorini. The eruption was cataclysmic, unleashing unimaginable forces of nature. The center of the island collapsed into the sea, creating the caldera we see today. Tsunamis, far-reaching ash clouds, and widespread environmental devastation followed, impacting the entire Aegean region and beyond. The Minoan civilization, already weakened by the eruption, is believed to have suffered a fatal blow. While Minoan culture persisted on Crete for a time, the Thera eruption is widely considered a major turning point, contributing to the eventual decline of this once dominant civilization. Could this real historical catastrophe, the volcanic destruction of a sophisticated island culture, have been the seed that germinated into the myth of Atlantis, passed down through Egyptian priests to Solon, and eventually to Plato? The parallels between the Thera eruption and the Atlantis myth are striking. Both involve advanced island civilizations, sudden and catastrophic destruction involving fire and water, and a disappearance beneath the waves. The Minoan civilization, with its sophisticated culture and maritime power, could be seen as a real-world analog to Plato's Atlantis. The Thera eruption, a verifiable historical event of immense scale, provides a plausible natural disaster that could have been magnified and mythologized over centuries into the dramatic downfall of Atlantis. Beyond Dwarka and Santorini, the archaeological record reveals numerous other instances of submerged settlements and coastal changes throughout history. In the Black Sea, for example, submerged Neolithic settlements have been discovered, dating back to a time when sea levels rose dramatically after the last ice age, inundating previously inhabited coastal plains. These discoveries suggest that the Black Sea region may hold ancient memories of a great flood, potentially contributing to flood myths found in Mesopotamian and other cultures. Around the Mediterranean, numerous ancient port cities and coastal settlements now lie partially or fully submerged, victims of sea level rise, earthquakes, and tectonic activity. These submerged cities, from Roman-era ports in Italy to ancient Phoenician harbors in Lebanon, offer tangible evidence of how coastlines have changed over millennia, and how human settlements have been lost to the sea. Geology further reinforces the idea that coastal change and sea level rise have been significant forces shaping human history. Throughout the Holocene epoch, the period since the last ice age, sea levels have fluctuated dramatically. Melting glaciers and ice sheets caused global sea levels to rise significantly, inundating vast coastal areas and transforming landscapes. These geological events would have been deeply impactful for coastal populations, potentially leaving lasting impressions in their collective memory and oral traditions. While archaeology and geology may not have unearthed a literal Atlantis, they provide compelling evidence that the myths of sunken civilizations are not entirely divorced from reality. They suggest that these myths may be complex amalgams of historical events, cultural anxieties, and enduring human fascination with the sea and the mysteries of the past. In our final chapter, we will explore the deeper meaning and enduring legacy of these lost world myths, considering what they tell us about ourselves and our place in the vast sweep of history. As we reach the culmination of our journey into the world of lost cities, we must confront a fundamental question: have we found Atlantis? In a literal, geographical sense, the answer, based on current evidence, remains elusive. No definitive, irrefutable proof of a continent-sized Atlantis matching Plato's description has been unearthed. The same holds true for Dwarka, Wise, and Lyonesse as purely historical entities precisely as described in their legends. However, to conclude that these myths are therefore meaningless fantasies would be a profound mistake. The enduring power and global reach of sunken city myths suggest that they tap into something deeply resonant within the human psyche. They are not simply whimsical tales, they are potent cultural narratives that reflect fundamental human anxieties, aspirations, and our complex relationship with the world around us. One of the most prominent themes woven through these sunken city myths is that of moral consequence. Atlantis, Dwarka, and Wise, in their respective narratives, all meet their watery fate due to moral failings, hubris, greed, corruption, or a departure from divine principles. These myths serve as cautionary tales, reminding us of the fragility of civilizations and the potential for societal decay from within. They resonate across cultures because societies throughout history have grappled with similar challenges, facing the constant threat of internal strife and moral decline. Furthermore, the myths of sunken civilizations profoundly reflect humanity's long-standing relationship with the sea. For coastal populations throughout history, the ocean has been both a source of sustenance and prosperity, and a powerful, unpredictable force of destruction. Coastal communities have always been vulnerable to natural disasters, floods, tsunamis, storms, and the slow, relentless creep of sea level rise. The stories of sunken cities may be, in part, cultural memories, encoded in myth and legend, of real coastal catastrophes that profoundly impacted ancient societies. They are a way of grappling with the power of nature and the precariousness of human existence in the face of overwhelming forces. Archaeological discoveries of submerged settlements and geological evidence of sea level change lend credence to this interpretation. They demonstrate that coastlines are dynamic, that sea levels do rise and fall, and that human civilizations have indeed been lost to the sea throughout history. These scientific findings do not prove the existence of Atlantis or Dwarka as described in myth, but they do validate the underlying premise. Civilizations can be submerged, and the sea can reclaim what was once land. In the end, the enduring appeal of Atlantis and other sunken city myths lies in their rich tapestry of mystery, history, and human drama. They are not just about lost cities beneath the waves, they are about ourselves. They invite us to contemplate the past, to imagine lost worlds and forgotten civilizations, and to reflect on our own civilization's place in the grand, sweeping narrative of time. The search for Atlantis, whether literal or metaphorical, continues to fascinate and inspire, enriching our understanding of human history, mythology, and the enduring power of the stories we tell ourselves across generations. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the depths of myth and history, in search of the lost city of Atlantis and its global echoes. While the literal Atlantis may remain elusive, the quest to understand these enduring myths continues to illuminate our understanding of ourselves and the world we inhabit. What do you think? Are these myths purely fiction, or do they hold a deeper historical truth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration, be sure to subscribe for more videos delving into the fascinating mysteries of our past. Hope you enjoyed this exploration into the lost city of Atlantis. If you did, a quick like would be fantastic. And for more videos uncovering the secrets of history and mythology, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.